Hello, I'm Paul O'Kelly, editor of Dublin Champion.ie, and this is a review of the Irish newspapers for Thursday, July the 25th, 2024. The Coolock riots. Well, the story that wouldn't die? That's what I noted last week, but who knew that 8 days later it would still be going strong, with most of the papers carrying a shocking and largely photo-based update of the saga. Snap, crackle and drop is how the Herald headlines the dropping by drone of petrol bombs to feed the attacks on the former Crown Paints factory. Landlord's lawyer Bernard Dunleavy told the High Court that there was a crackle of violence, hence the Herald headline, adding, however, that Gardaí were concerned that it could spark into flames at any moment. The Irish Daily Mirror carries pictures too, focusing on our friend from last week, Balaclava Man, while the Irish Times fills 5 columns of its front page with a picture of the graffiti-covered bollards surrounding the site. The Irish Independent gives the same topic a quite different twist. Immigration Gardaí numbers stagnant as migrant cases surge. Apparently, the number of officers in the Garda National Immigration Bureau has fallen in the last 2 years, even as the state grapples with the surge in migrants and refugees. Meanwhile, there's more on the crisis in RTE, with the Mail headlining "Anger at RTE blank check," and the subhead reads, "Bailout leaves broadcaster 140 million better off than before the scandal." The Sun takes the same line with a front page picture of comedian and frequent RTE performer David McSavage telling us RTE is dead, while on page 4 of that paper we read that No Nonsense Dave told the Irish Sun RTE is a dinosaur that doesn't know when it's dead. In real life, McSavage continues, if you're not good at something and you can't make a living, you fail. Don't hold back, David. Well, with just 3 days to go to the All-Ireland, the Belfast-based Irish News has a front-page photo of amber-clad Armagh fans giving their backing to the Orchard County. Inside, there are no fewer than 4 pages of coverage, many of them featuring bunting all over Lurgan, Portadown and the rest of the county. The Irish Times leads with plans to dampen down the massive libel payouts that so many papers have been facing in recent years. Abolition of juries among proposals to reform defamation, reports Cormac McQuinn. However, he does go on to explain that new laws will help both sides. Those people defamed anonymously on social media will soon have the right to demand the names and contact details of their attackers. And finally, and speaking of not holding back, there's quite a thorough lambasting of all parties in the Stormont executive by a very miffed John Manley in the Irish News. It's unclear what media arrangements are in place for China's State Council when it meets every couple of weeks, but it's difficult to imagine them being more secretive than what happens at Stormont, he fumes. So our beloved heroines, First Ministers Michelle O'Neill and the adorably named Emma Little Pengelly, more remote than those inscrutable waxwork figures in the Chinese Communist Party. John, someone, somewhere, Shinner or Unionist, will you for God's sake give that poor, neglected political correspondent a stiff drink, 2 aspirin and a world exclusive. Just a reminder that we'll be reviewing the papers every Thursday, Friday, Saturday and Sunday. We have both sound-only and video versions, with sound available just before 9 in the morning or a little bit later, we're learning, and video uploaded a little later. More details on our website, dublinchampion.ie. And finally, we're doing this voluntarily, largely because the weekend newspaper reviews have been inexplicably axed by RTE. So if you love your Irish morning newspapers, do please like, subscribe and tell your friends.